Alex, I wondered how relevant you think the matchups with Portland were in the regular season, considering they didn't have Nurkic in the first two when you beat them. The other one was, of course, after Kobe's tragic passing, and just where you guys are at in the matchup that's coming tomorrow compared to what you saw in the regular season.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you can take a little bit from it, a little bit not so much, just because they didn't have Collins and Nurkic for some of the matchups, and then Gary Trent's playing a lot better in the bubble than he was earlier in the year with limited minutes, and then a lot of their role players aren't playing as many minutes as they did during the regular season. So it's a bit of a switch, but at the same time, their main focus of their team with CJ and Dame is pretty much the same. They just have some more supporting cast players that are stepping up.
What do you think for you, Alex, is the key in defending either Dame or CJ, and how often you think that you'll see one of those two?
The key, yeah. I wish there was a one size fit all kind of answer for that. They can do so much, going left, going right, shooting over the top, playing in the mid range. Really good foul shooters. So it's definitely a team effort. We're not going to tell anybody on our team one-on-one, go guard that guy 94 feet and hold him to 20 points, because I don't think that's very realistic. But me, KCP, Danny, maybe even a little bit more size on him at times too. But we're going to do our best to just kind of pester him, kind of try to keep him off rhythm as much as possible, because we know what they're both capable of if you let them get into a rhythm.
Hey, Alex, it's Dave. I don't know if you would even tell me the real answer, considering the competitive edge that you'd want to have going into the series. But you had the back and the neck issues come up in the seeding round. I'm just curious how you're feeling and what type of attention you got for your body in the time since the seeding round ended.
I feel pretty good. I don't know if anybody's at 100% after jumping back into playing basketball after being off for a couple months, but I feel good. I've practiced the last 3 or 4 days, been in all the live stuff, so I'm ready to go.
Kyle Goon?
Rondo's back in practice today, playing that position as a ball handler for this team. What kind of advice did he have for you personally when he was away from the team, and what was it like to have him back in practice today?
Yeah, I texted him a couple times over the break, just kind of getting his thoughts after a couple games, talking about maybe how I played or how we're playing as a team. And then obviously we're excited for him to be back, because he brings something to this team that I don't think anybody else can do, just with the experience and the way that he plays in the playoffs. Understanding coverages, understanding what we're trying to do with our schemes and our game plan, and then applying it into the game. He's one of the most vocal people I've ever played with, if not the most. So just excited to have him back. He brings a different dimension to our team that I don't think anybody else can.
But he was doing that even when he was away, right? Like watching you guys on video?
Oh, yeah. He was, people don't understand what Rondo is. He's one of the most competitive people I've ever been around, and then two, he just loves basketball. So like him being away after he was here for 3 days, he's been itching to get back and be in practice. So he's been step for step in line with everything we've been trying to do.
Could you tell how excited he was to be back out there today? What was he like in practice?
Yeah, he sent a picture to us in the group text last night. He laid out his practice gear on his bed like it was the first day of school. Yeah, he's obviously excited, especially for a guy, like I said, really competitive, loves the game. He's not a guy that likes to sit around. He's constantly either working out or playing basketball. So for him to be back and then throw in the mix with the teammates and everybody that we've been missing him too. So yeah, it was nice to have him back.
This environment, it can get monotonous here. You go to practice, you have the same things to do every day. Like there's only so far you can go. I wonder if him being in here is kind of a little jolt for you guys.
Yeah, it is a little bit of fresh energy, but at the same time, the playoffs themselves are bringing us so much energy. I don't think we needed him to bring us that energy to get up to play, but it is nice to have him back, just to have our full team and be together.
Mark Medina?
Yeah, Alex, LeBron's LeBron, right? But what's jumped out to you this season, how he's navigated all the different elements this year with some new players, new coaching staff, Kobe's tragedy, the season hiatus and the restart. Have you seen him kind of go through that?
Yeah, he's just, especially for our team, and even more so than our team, just the general public, he's been a leader, He's been a guy that you can lean on and he'll lend his voice or his educated opinion on something, and it's usually something that's going to benefit you, whether that's basketball related, off the court related, whatever it is. That's kind of just who he is. If you're on his team, he's gonna do everything in his power to make sure you're good and make sure that if he needs to help you or can help you, he will.
Okay, Jared.
Yeah,
Thank you.
So you said the playoff energy is here. You just mentioned that, but can you explain how things have felt different, whether it be in team meetings or on the practice court?
Different in what way? Different apart from what they have been?
Yeah, like is there a difference that today's getting ready for playoff games rather than seeding games?
Maybe other than just a little more detail, a little more focus on what the actual schemes and game plan is, because we're replacing one team for however many games we have against them. And I mean, everybody just it's starting to kick in. Like it's do or die time, right? If you lose, you're going home. And as much as we'd rather be home with our families, we'd rather be here for another 2 months trying to win a championship.
Has that time away gotten easier, or has it become more difficult?
That's hard to say. Just because this time of the year is usually when the NBA is kind of full shut down. Everybody's kind of either on vacation. Their young players are getting to the facilities, starting to work out with the teams, and instead we're getting into like the most heated games and opportunity of the season. So in that aspect, man, it's been really weird and it's been kind of difficult to adjust to. But I'm a big believer in making every situation as positive as you can, and obviously like the light at the end of the tunnel is a championship. So I mean that's easy enough motivation to just kind of accept what reality is at this point, and it's living in a bubble in Orlando and competing to play basketball games.
Tanisha has a couple more.
Bill Orm.
Hey, Alex. When you're getting your first taste of playoff action starting tomorrow, you haven't been there, and you've got a guy like LeBron who's got almost 250 playoff games under his belt, and obviously there's an expectation of what LeBron in the playoffs brings. Does that put any more pressure on guys like you and Kuz who haven't really experienced the playoffs in that same way yet?
Maybe. I haven't played in it yet, so I guess I can't really answer it truthfully. I can't speak for Kuz or for any of the other guys that are first-year players, but I mean, for me, I've been having to play in high-pressure situations. I've been teammates with Bron for this whole year. I had to play to get a career for the first 2-3 years that I had a professional standing in basketball. So I mean, there's been pressure for me to perform and to perform well for a couple of years now, and obviously there's a different result and a different goal with these set of games and pressure that comes with it. But I'm like, you got one choice. Like you can either like be afraid and kind of fall into the pressure, or you can show up and play basketball. And I'm planning on doing the second one.
Last two questions, Melissa.
Hey, Alex. Frank told us a while ago that as the playoffs started getting closer and closer, that he was going to start bringing up Kobe more and more and showing you guys some clips. I'm curious if any of that has started yet.
We got a nice kind of 2-minute video in our team film session this morning from Lionel Hollins, one of our assistants who's not with us in the bubble, and it was a bit of a sermon that kind of tied in Kobe and what it means to be a Laker, and it was pretty powerful in that 2-minute video.
Last question, James.
Hey, Alex. LeBron can obviously be effective anywhere. When he's specifically in the post, what does that do for you guys, and how do you like to play off of him when he's in the post?
Yeah, it's an advantage for him or for us to have him be able to play in multiple positions. Whenever he plays out of the post, he's obviously one of the best passers, if arguably the best passer in the world. So for us to be able to just get open shots and create easy offense by people having to double team him, and if they don't double team him, he's the best athlete in the world. He's going to just go get a basket. So it puts teams in a troubling position because they have to determine what they want to do. If they leave him one-on-one on an island, he can easily go and score and score a lot, and if they go double team him, he's the best passer in the game, so he's going to find the open man. So it's a big advantage for us to have LeBron on the team, but then have him be able to play in different positions that he does.
Anyone else here?
Yeah, it's okay. Anthony Davis beat the Trailblazers in a series in a sweep a couple years ago. I'm sure you probably watched it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a matchup there that he did dominate at that time, and Rondo was part of that series. Is that at all something sort of to lean on confidence-wise, or in any other way? Does that come up during your prep?
No, I mean we haven't looked at any series outside of the ones that we've played as the team with the Lakers, just because Pelicans had a different team than what team we have, and don't like to pull my confidence from one or two games this season. You know, I think I pull my confidence from our overall resume of how we've played and how we're one of the best defenses in the league, and whenever we get out in transition, that I don't think there's many teams that can keep up with us.
I promise, last one, Alex.
Tanisha, this is the first time I've seen you in a couple weeks.
I tried to show some people today.
Okay, sorry to get in here at the last. You've been in this atmosphere now for like 3 or 4 weeks. You've played in games before virtual fans rather than the full arena before a full crowd and what have you. What has that adjustment involved, and is there a sense that you have to kind of build your own adrenaline, build your own excitement if you don't have 17,000, 18,000 people behind you?
Yeah, you know, that's part of the great challenge of the bubble is finding out how you can create your own energy and how you can create your own sense of urgency that comes with playing in front of 15,000, 16,000 fans and having that built-in adrenaline already there. So that's been one of the things that I've been trying to focus on for the last couple seeding games, and then the last couple week or so, just focusing on how I can get myself to play at the highest level possible with just 2 teams on the court.